Hello, my name is Carl Rowland with Sherline Products. Today we're going to go over how to replace the toggle switch, your power on, power off toggle switch on your speed control. These don't go out very often. However, if you are cutting wood, especially wood like African blackwood or ebony wood, which has a high oil content to the wood, the dust from the wood will get inside the switch here and short it out. The other thing that will cause that is if you do a whole lot of brass work. Brass chips don't necessarily get in here, but you'll get like brass powder from the job, and that will get in here also and short out your toggle switch. So today we're going to go over how to replace the toggle switch. First and foremost, before you work on this, because it is an electrical device, the first thing you do is you unplug it so there's no power to the system whatsoever. So your power cord is unplugged. The next one, we have our screw right here that holds the entire speed control onto the bracket and the DC motor. Lesson one is lefty-loosey, righty-tighty as you're looking down at the head of the screw. So the first thing you're going to do is loosen this screw, okay, and it will come out quite a ways. It usually generally sticks in the plastic housing. It won't come out all the way, but it'll come out enough to flip this guy up. What it's threading into is this piece right here, which has just got the hex nut pressed into it. So just so you can see what the assembly is here. Generally the hard part is not getting the screw out, it's getting the screw back in, because this piece will move and you've got to get the hole aligned with the screw. So that's the assembly process, not to worry about now. The next thing, if you look down here, we have two ears right here, and your plate that holds the speed control together has two pins on either side that goes into those hinge pieces. These guys here can just be pulled aside and your entire assembly pops right out. So now we have the speed control disconnected from the motor and headstock. Okay. Next thing, what you want to do is loosen and remove the nut that's on top of your toggle switch. This is a 9/16. I've got an adjustable wrench, which is a no-no for anything real, but this is a pretty basic nut and not a big deal. So we'll take the nut all the way off. Okay, and we'll set that off to the side. You're going to be reusing this, so don't lose it. When you receive your toggle switch, it will look just like this. You've got one wire that's got the press on and one wire that's bare. You've got the adjuster knurled ring right here, and that's it. So you'll adjust this knurled ring right here to get your height correct for how far the switch threaded part of the switch area sticks out of the housing, and then you'll put that nut back on. So the next thing that we want to do is remove the four screws right here. You have two round head screws that are on the same side as the 1032 screw you loosened to get this up, and you have two smaller flathead screws down at the bottom where the actual hinge points are next to your power cables. We're going to remove the four screws. We're going to take the round headed screws out first, and just a small Phillips head screwdriver works just fine. Two of these. Okay. And then two of the smaller flathead screws down at the bottom where the hinge pins are. Then we just take the plate out of here. Okay, in order to get the circuit board and everything out, all you have to do is get a small flat blade screwdriver and just pry it down inside here and just start working it up. And you want to do it from the sides, one side or the other, either side is fine. Once you get it pried up a little bit, you should be able to work it out pretty easy. Right now we have our speed control board open. If you look down inside, you have the toggle switch, which I just pushed out. And I can pull this guy out of here slowly. First we have the pin L2 on the board. Can you see that? So that's L2. We're just going to take this guy, just work him off of that pin. Jeez Louise. That's on there tight. Now if you look inside the other black cord, got a black and white. You can pull this guy out of the way. And this is actually the one for the speed control. So we got black and orange. That's where the other wire goes, right here. So this is just a wire nut. Just undo the wire nut. And undo your wires. And you should be able to fish your wires out of here. So that's the old one. So we're going to set that guy aside. And we're going to put the new one in. So for the new one, first thing I'm going to do is put the wire nut back on. So you want to make sure this is twisted up good. And clockwise, because that's the way you're going to put the nut on. So that guy's twisted up good. Then we have the mating wire. You'll notice that the length of this wire and the length of this wire, they're not anywhere close. You want to have this guy pretty close to the same length so that after you put the wire nut on, you don't have any exposed wires below the wire nut. So we're going to trim a little bit of this guy off. And we'll twist this guy up. And we'll put both of these together. And we'll twist them together. And then we'll put the wire nut on. The wire nut should screw on until you actually see it start to twist the two wires on the outside. When you get to that point there, you're pretty secure. It's not going to go anywhere. So you have a good connection there. For your toggle switch, you have this knurled ring right here that adjusts up and down and dictates how much of the threaded surface is going to stick out above the top of your control body. If you make it about the same as this one, we should be good. So make these so they're both the same or close to the same. I'd say right about there. That looks good. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to bend the wires back again so that this all fits back in the same way relative. Okay. And I'm going to put the new limit switch into the hole. I'm going to turn it. First I'm going to see how much is sticking out. And that's a decent amount right there. Actually, yeah, we'll leave it there. What I would do now is I would put my nut back on the outside. Align your switch so it's square to the housing, and then tighten your nut up so it stays that way. So once we have it in position, then we just snug it up. And that's good. Now I'm going to take the black and orange wire that was right here, and we're going to push that back down below. The black and orange from the toggle switch will just push down inside, and then this one goes back onto the number L2 post, and you just push it on. So this is a pretty tight fit. It's not going to come off of there easily. So we have right back on L2. All right, Now we can move your wires around, put your housing back in. Make sure it's all pretty much flush with the bottom surface here. What I would do right now is plug it in and actually check to see if it works before you bother buttoning it up. Okay, so we'll plug it in over here. And we'll see if, okay, it works. I'm going to unplug it again. Just so right now we're going to put the hinge plate back on the bottom. The hinge plate, one side of the holes are flush, the other sides have a slight countersink to them, and that's for the flathead screws. So you have to make sure that when you put this back together, the flathead screws, which are the smaller diameter screw, go at the bottom where the hinge pins are, and the round head screws go at the top. If you put the round head screws in the bottom, you'll make these holes right here too big, and these will already be too big, so you have two screws that don't work anymore. So we'll go round head first, and it's easier to put them in here. So I can eyeball it onto the hole. And because it's plastic, I turn it backwards first to get it started, so it's starting on the same threads. I would just put it in just enough to get it started, don't tighten it all the way down. Once you have one of them started, you're pretty much good as far as alignment goes. So the two big round-headed screws there, the two smaller flat-headed screws on the hinge side. And once we get all four of them in place and threaded in a little bit, then you can tighten them all down. So right now I can snug them all down. Okay, and it just has to be snug. This is plastic. If you go overboard on how tight you tighten them, you're just going to strip the threads out of the housing. So that guy's back in there. Now what we're going to do is put it back together, put it back onto the DC motor. The width of your ears here is pretty much the same as the gap, so this is a pretty tight fit to get it started. But if you force it in a little bit there, that gets it between, it gets it into the gap. Put your pin into the ear, and then this guy here just flips around and we're back in business. So the next part is this little guy here, which tends to move around when you try to get your screw back into it. So I'm going to move it out a little bit. And just go snug right there. Okay, when you put the toggle switch body back into the housing, make sure that the wires coming out of the toggle switch body are facing the back of the housing where the power cables are coming in and out. Otherwise, when you finish your assembly, your on-off positions will be reverse of what they should be. Assembly is finished. We plug it into power. The next stage of the video, we're going to show you how to put the dust cover on. When you get your dust cover, it's going to look like this. And as you can see, the hole that's in the end of the dust cover is significantly smaller than the knob end of the toggle switch. And you have to force that knob end through that small hole. The bottom of the toggle switch is a hex nut that's threaded that's going to take the place of this hex nut right here. So you remove the hex nut for starts. But if I try to just put it on right now and I start pushing down, as I push down, my whole toggle switch pushes down. So basically we have to take this apart just like we did to replace the toggle switch, so that I can put force on the bottom side as I'm assembling the dust cover onto the toggle switch. I've already taken it off. I've taken the bracket off, and now I'm going to pull the electronics board out. And once you pull it out, your toggle switch is now loose in here. So what you want to do is push down on it and flip this over so I have pressure pushing up from beneath it. Now what I want to do, this is rubber, so it will stretch as the ball of the toggle switch pushes into it. I want to push it down far enough to get my hex nut on the dust cover started, which can be a challenge. Once it's started, then what I want to do is move, I'll get it on a couple turns. Right now you can see where the toggle switch is pushing towards the back side here instead of the center of the hole. What I want to do is force the toggle switch into the center position between on and off and up into the middle, and then I'm going to force the toggle switch through the hole. So right there, once the toggle switch is through, and then I can tighten this up the rest of the way. And now we have a nice tight seal on the shaft of the toggle switch. I'll turn it back over and make sure that my housing is square. The housing of my toggle switch inside is square. And then I'll tighten this guy up. Okay, right there. That feels good. All right, now I'll bring it back around. Took all my wiring in, make sure nothing's in the way, nothing's going to get pinched. Put my components back together, and it should seat in there nice and easy. Right now it's smooth here, it's all flush, and here it's sticking up. So I've got some wire issues inside. So I'm going to pull this out again and see what's getting sandwiched in there. All right. Adjust my wires again. All right. And right now everything's nice and flush on the bottom, so we don't have anything being sandwiched or pinched or kinked. So that guy's done. I just put the back plate back on and reassemble this, and it's a finished deal. We have our finished product with our dust cover on. Looks and sounds good. That's all good. As far as the dust cover goes, if you do a lot of woodwork or you do a lot of brass work, then this is a very inexpensive addition to your machine that'll save you a lot of trouble. We don't offer it with all of our machines because 98% of the customers we have never had a problem with it. So for you 2%ers that are out there, definitely buy yourself a dust cover if you're doing that kind of work. So pen makers, anybody who's dealing with the exotic woods, it's primarily woodworkers that need the dust cover on there more so than anybody. So there you have it.